Yes. Okay. So let's start. So I own a company called Orena, but we are not going bit into details of it. As I said, that my space of working is purely into engineering and to ensure that people become industry ready. Uh, Orena is a research center to make people industry ready. We do support R&D and lot of other activities as well. But today our focus is about big data analytics and the various opportunities available in this domain in the market. Is what you would have already known before the start of this session and before the start of your entire workshop. And now, due to this workshop, have been confirmed that data science is a 21st century job skill that everybody should have. Data science, the way computers have become pervasive, the way electronics have been become pervasive, I'm sure everybody, any place, wherever you look around, you will find data and data and data everywhere. Even right now, while I'm delivering the session sitting in Vadodara, and you are enjoying either the sessions at your home or sitting in Delhi in the college, I'm sure you understand that all what we are doing is transmitting the data in various formats, which is file, which is video, and which is audio, right? So all of this and and now today everybody while is online and on the on this online platform, everybody has its own virtual world as well. So we all know that data science is a 21st century job skill that everybody will require, whether it's a data to be collected before we purchase a sabji, whether it is a data to be collected before we decide which movie to go, whether it's a data to be collected before we decide uh, what what things to be purchased, or no matter however smaller or an important decision we have to take in life, we definitely go by data and look at the previous analysis and previous feedbacks, right? And this was said by Eric Van Dusen from Berkeley. So as you know, and I'm sure you all know this, but big data analytics is nothing but the use of advanced analytic techniques against a very large diverse set that includes structured, semi-structured, and unstable data as well, or completely unstructured data as well from different sources. And this can be in different sizes, right from terabytes to zettabytes. Now, why we are doing this analytics? At the end, to get the business insights, and at the end to take the informed decisions. While the data can be structured or semi-structured or unstructured. Okay. So madam, please differentiate between analysis and analytics. Okay. So analysis is the process and analytics is the subject. So while analytics will not only consist of doing analysis, but making reports, but doing hell lot of things which will lead to take some informed decision, is analytics, in which analysis is one of the process. Have I cleared that out? Right. So businesses can use advanced analytics techniques to gain new insights from previously untapped data sources. You know that wherever you travel, suddenly, in case if you have to kept your GPS on, you will also find out some advertisement coming up on your mobile popping up. Hey, why don't you go to this nearby location? Now, who does it? Somebody must be tracking. Somebody is looking at wherever you are traveling. Your GPS is being tracked, and according to your previous made choices, looking at your previous purchase, if you have purchased online, only those pop-ups will come to you, right? Which means not only you are being tracked, but your all previous data has been analyzed, right? And that's the reason big data is a revolutionary market and business, thus helping us gain better understanding of our social world. And trust me, it's very scary as well. Because sometimes I do get a feeling that there's somebody big brother watching continuously and entering into my privacy area. Okay? But now since this is the market and this is the job, what are the key reasons to become a data analyst? Right? Because it's most in demand jobs. See now, honestly, I mean, even logically or by common sense, you would realize that we have produced enough data and we have been producing a lot of data every day, day in, day out, in every second. Now, what are we supposed to do with that data? Of course, to do a lot of analysis and deduce some information out of it. Now, on this world, while entire population is only into producing data, you need a lot of data analysts to do this job, right? And because it requires huge amount of mathematics and it's an upcoming technology, the salary is also very significantly. In fact, since I deal in this domain of uh, providing the job and bridging this gap, I myself currently have what? Around 3 companies connected with me who is looking for jobs. So all those people who are looking for for the job ahead can reach out to me after my session. Okay. So so if I look at data analyst, it's highly paid and diverse roles, improved product standards. It is basically to help the world. It is ultimately evolving the workplace environments, and it's highly in demand field. This is the time where you can actually look at your career and think whether you want to do you want to become a data analyst or not. This is the gap analysis if you look at it today. Talent demand and supply gap analysis. In 2008, we had around 140K jobs, while we had only 78K people, which is coming directly out of university. Again, I am not considering the unemployment ratio there. Okay, I'm assuming everybody is employed. But in 2021, that gap has increased to 140K. So now you understand. And that's the reason. If there is a huge demand supply gap, it automatically means that there will be, just a minute, just checking. Yeah, it automatically means that there is huge in demand. Okay. Now this is basically a part of NASSCOM's larger initiative to build the gap. Women in Big Data, where I'm also a co-director, offers this courses completely free of cost along with NASSCOM in the domain of data analysis. And I would request the team to even look at that because this is completely free of cost. Women in Big Data is an NGO where we want to support women, especially in the domain of data analytics. Why there is a huge demand? Because the big data analysis has segment across various sectors, right? I don't know. Okay. So these are positions which are filled. Every current year, these are the vacancies, but total demand and employee deficit. Okay. So that's the complete statistics. And this will be next year. Okay. 3.7 lakhs is positions which are filled, while vacancies is 1.4 lakh. But while next year the employee deficit will increase in terms of 2.3 lakhs. Okay. A new demand of 8 lakh will be created. Now, having said that, which are the various positions in which you can make up a domain, you can make up a job in big data analytics? Okay. You can match up as you can start your career into business analytics, or you can be only data analysts, data integrators, solution architects, data architects, and data scientists. Okay. The people who are only working on data and do not have to work on any programming language will be hardcore data scientists. You will require a lot of data to be collected from various sources. So that's a separate position, being a data integrator. I will, after this session, also not only supply you this PDF, but also give you the job profile and the JD for each and every. Okay. These are the various places. is used everywhere in all the domains across the industries. Let it be healthcare, let it be consumer, let it be manufacturing, banking, technology, energy, and now even in e-governance. Academic and research positions are also available for data analysis. And the domains in which you can work is either you can work in the domain of business intelligence or only data assurance, or you can even have a domain where you're only focused on data, the kind of data quality. So all what you do is aggregate the data and clean the data. Finance, higher education, sales and marketing. Okay, there are various domains in which data analysis can be done. These are the job trends. In 2002, we had percentage of matching job posting and 0.06%, and today we are at 24%. It's also analyzed that the data science openings are open for 45 days, 5 days more than regular one on job market. What does it mean? When it say job is open for 45 days, it is a usual trend that one job posting when started, it takes around 40 days to fill up that position. This requires extra fight, which automatically says that the supply is less. These are top 5 entry-level data analyst jobs. Operations, quantitative, IT, healthcare, and consultant. Operation analyst will work in various industries for in-house reporting systems. So basically, they are looking at in-house reporting system, looking at a product manufacturing details, looking at all the data which is collected inside the unit, and it has an average salary of 2.5. Now this is the entry level. Okay. While we have a quantitative analyst, it will work in collaboration with mathematical professions. Okay. So that has nothing to do with the programming part. It is more a statistician who will be working as a quantitative analyst. He has to not only collect the data, but understand and convert it into a proper reporting format. And his salary will be 7.5. Then comes the system IT guys, where IT analyst includes designing systems to resolve the challenges in the IT space. Here, they may require the programming knowledge as well. Healthcare data analyst. Okay, now this is basically again a separate domain, but a huge in demand because of this COVID and pandemic. And now people are fearing there will be a lot more such pandemics coming up. And so there is a lot amount of data to be analyzed. Plus, this is a market in terms of where hardly any data is collected ideally. Now that they have been conscious enough not only to collect the data but analyze, so that they go predictive. And on top of it, there can be somebody who can be data analytics consultant. This is the global scenario. Any questions here? So this is across UK.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, please raise your hand.
Or chat. Right? Here you go. It's increasing year on year. This is the expected demand for data scientists in 10 years. I hope till now you have already realized that the job of data scientist or the job of data analyst is a not only technology agnostic, but any domain agnostic as well. Anybody and everybody who is in love with numbers and who enjoys crunching the number can make up their career in data. Okay. So if you look at by regions, Asia has most number of jobs, US and Canada, and followed by Europe. Okay. While in terms of data scientists by employment type, students, the focus on fresher and entry level has increased drastically. Industry and self-employed or government will be lesser, and academia is increasing and decreasing. But overall, if you look at it, every domain is requiring lot number of data scientists. What are the different big data job roles? Here you can become a big data engineer, or you can become a data architect, or you can become a data warehouse manager. Engineer is supposed to gather, retrieve, analyze, interpret, and do the reporting of data. Okay. Data architect is supposed to build and maintain structure of complex framework. So ideally what it does is engineer while engineer will work on the data, architect would actually develop the strategies as to how the data has to be collected and which formats, which parameters the data will be analyzed. And based on his or her suggestion, big data engineer will be working. And warehouse manager will be mainly focusing on creating the IT infrastructure where this data can be stored. So all what you need is a data to be stored. Then you need somebody to talk about what you want to analyze in the data and how it can be analyzed. And then somebody who will actually analyze the data. So this is a type of three overall type of jobs. And within this, there are again various sections. So within this, if you talk about the sections, then database. So when we talk about data, when we talk in previous data warehouse manager, he is a overall manager. Now within this, since the data can be stored in database, you need a database manager. Since if the data is stored in the form of files, you again call it as a Hadoop or other engineer and so on. Okay. Going back. In case of, going back, if I say data architect, who will actually talk about strategy as to what all data will be and in which format the data should be used. Data analyst will actually talk about after getting the data, what all business decisions can be taken, which format the data has to be looped in back to at the end give the feedback to the business so that they can actually support the business for it. And you need data scientists as well. While you are not only working on those mathematics part of it, there has to be somebody in a purely mathematical domain who can create a lot of algorithms. And those kind of people are called as data scientists. So as you see, you have n number of job roles available, or rather I would say that at whichever role you are, ideally, every role, what all roles do I have here? If somebody can chat. Currently, what all participants I have? Please chat your job role. Professor in CSE, okay. PhD scholar, professor. Student in which domain? Or a professor in which domain? PhD scholar. What are all are in IT domain? Okay, all are from CSE. Many science are there, students or professors. Okay, speaking MAD. What is that? Full form of MAD? Mobile application development. Okay. So that again, all are from computer science background. Okay. Majority are from computer science background. So while we are majority from computer science background, and if we have a neck towards more of programming, then the kind of job roles which we have on the back end would be database or data warehouse. And on the front end, it would be more of a data engineer, where you the data which is or the various algorithms which are created by scientists, you are actually implementing those algorithms, right? Because you are majorly from computer science background. But I hope during this entire session you would have realized that since the data is pervasive, you any domain, even if I talk about a car driver, if he starts working on collecting the data from a car, which he is driving day in, day out, and start analyzing it. Of course, he has to learn how to analyze it, but he can add value to his own profile. What I mean to say is, apart from the regular profile which is already there, we have to really focus and understand that any profile, in whichever profile you're working, you can add this topic of data analysis into that. Make sense? Any questions till now? Any questions till now?
You can write your questions in the chat box.
Yes. Yes, that would help. So now let's talk of what kind of technical competencies are needed. We say analysis. And what kind of combined competencies are there to create a popular job role? Now, this is a very important slide, few. Okay. And trust me, for every of a separate competency, you can have a separate job. I hope this will make sense. For example, if we are into a job category of doing only analysis of data, which nothing. If we are only in the job role of doing analysis of the data, then the technical competencies which are required to do this are: you need to import the data sets, you need to pre-process the data set, you need to perform exploratory data analysis on top of it, perform research and design of algorithmic models. So you need to design those algorithmic models. You don't have to perform typical research on it. Okay. Apply pre-designed algorithmic models to specific use case because you're doing analysis. Evaluate risk of deployment of these algorithmic models. Evaluate business performance of these algorithmic models. Develop visualization reports and documentation. That should be the outcome of your analysis. And then you collect and define business requirements by interacting with the clients. Does this make sense entirely? Yeah, how to become a data analyst. Okay, so, so this is exactly what we are talking. If you want to become a business data analyst, you want to do data analysis. If you want to do data analysis, these are the technical competencies which you are supposed to have. So mainly use of, just a minute, let me open my chat. So mainly use of ML models, yes, and not only ML, Ms. Preeti, there can be various options available, various other models available. I again go back, kindly look at the same slide. Luckily, you have asked the question on the same slide. This is all the technical competencies you need to become a data analyst. You need to know how to import the data sheet. You need to know how to import pre-processes data and so on. Now, if you want to only become a data quality analyst, the green, look, see, these are all the technical competencies which will come under the domain of analysis. And on the right hand side, what you have is green, blue, and pink, where green indicates if I want to, no, is there any particular tool that to be done? No, no, not really. You can take an example of any tool, but every tool will have its own limitations. Usually, rather than learning a particular, we understand what is the requirement, and then we select a tool, because every tool will have its own pros and cons. You may buy R or Python for that. And for generating the reports, you may want to go for Tableau or Power Builder. The features what you want to do, the frequency of the data, and the amount of data which you want to. Palvinder, have I answered your question? Palvinder, have I answered your question, please? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So look at this slide. This is a huge analysis which I've done and which has been shown here. If you want to become a data quality analyst, all what you want to have is two technical competence. How to data set, how you want to pre-process the data. You are still a part of analysis, but the job role of a data quality analyst will require only these two technical competencies, and that's what is in case ball. Now, similarly, if you want to become a data scientist, so anybody who wants to become a data scientist should know not only to import and pre-process the data, but also apply algorithms on that data. And anybody who wants to become a business intelligence analyst, which only gets the data, forms exploratory data analysis on it, but later on also develop visualization reports and collect and define business requirements based on that. Okay, is this make sense? Are you able to understand this slide? Because this slide is very important. When you want to select your job role, then you need to know what is the kind of technical competence required. So this is the technical competence required only when you want to in of analysis. Who data analytics or analysis or do the analysis. So there is no hard and fast requirement. Hard and fast requirements in this domain. Any data enthusiasts, graduates, professionals, all can undergo the training, because at the end, what we require is understanding of the data, which anyway by default we do it day in, day out, right? But if you have a math inclination, that is definitely the must. Okay. Right. Questions?
Participants, please raise your hands if you wish to interact with ma'am. We'll unmute you, or you can write your queries in the chat box.
ATAL management team. Oh, what's the name? Organizing
Yes, ma'am.
team. Your name, please.
Ma'am, I'm Archita.
What? Archita, while we did say that, but the topic of various options and career options in data analysis is where I am only supposed to show what are the job roles available I've already done. So now I would leave up to the participants to ask me questions as to how they want to make their career.
Yes, ma'am. We have a question from Dr. Gagan. From teaching to data scientist, is it possible?
Absolutely, absolutely it is possible, Dr. Gagan. But what is the subject that you are teaching or an inclination to which subject?
Dr. Gagan, we have unmuted you. You can interact with
Oh,
ma'am.
fantastic. Fantastic. You are actually working in a data science. So why not? Why not? In fact, you are the most nearest to this position. You must be already teaching the algorithms. You must be already teaching how to work on the data, right? So, and how to collect the data. So all what you have to do is fantastic. Yeah, I'm sure you have learned all the steps that you mentioned. Absolutely. So all what you have to do is take up some case studies, uh, execute whatever you're learning onto those case studies. Usually in teaching, we don't, I mean, I hope you do, but majority of the time, larger case only end up into doing some little academic projects. So in that case, maybe, for your own satisfaction or for your own confidence, you can take a very large, fantastic. So you have done case studies and project also. You can very easily become a data scientist. And by the way, Dr. Gagan, I have a job for you as well. How about you knowing Hadoop? Where to go? Okay. So you are asking what, why, where, when, who, how. Okay. So are you knowing Dr. Gagan Hadoop? Yes. Share me a profile. I'll give you a job. There is a fantastic company. I'll you name the company itself. There's a company called Shivark. They are it's a US based company. They are looking for people uh, in the domain of Hadoop and who has this data analysis. It's a US based company working directly with the client. And within 2 years, there is an absolute opportunity to go on L1 or H1. Currently, if I this is my chat. I have shared my email now, and I'll share you my phone number as well. Did you receive my number? Yeah. So I've given both. This company is looking for somebody to be joining EBG as soon, and this will be in Chandigarh or Mohali. And initially, for initial period, work from home is also allowed. Sure. But ideally, if you look at India's demography, majority of the companies who have now started working in data analysis are in Bangalore, Pune, and Hyderabad. Uh, uh, and quite a few in Delhi region. But otherwise, at other level, the data scientist position is, I mean, second tier cities have not reached, right? From where we get DC, disease data, process of India. Oh, so you are based in Hyderabad. So yeah, you can work from there also. Process data of India. Now that is a challenge, Miss Pooja, because healthcare data is very, very personal data. You may have to reach up to the government departments for that it's because it's a healthcare data. But you can again, right now, if I look at the dome, if I look at, so there's a huge requirement of various companies where they are trying to predict the next disease which can come based on the geographical area. So there's a combination of lot of data and the previous history of that geography. Uh, yes, of course, it's not a process data at all because we are very, very bad in India, especially to still We have not yet even followed HIPAA standards, and we are not even maintaining the data. And if we are maintaining the data, mm, yeah, I'll get back to you, Palvinder. I'm okay. So, but these kind of data, I mean, to go to hospitals and to get that data is also very difficult. But there are a lot of companies which are now coming up, and probably government is also looking forward for certain areas where if you can do a lot of data analysis and if you connect it to geography, uh, that is the geographical location, maybe GIS, or use of GIS connected to it, then not only you can tell what were the disease and other things, but over a period after you include AI into it, you can design some predictive algorithm also. So I have a friend in US who is actually doing this into the domain of data analysis. He is completely doing predictive analysis. The way he has designed his business model is getting connected to the hospitals and then taking the hospital data and doing predictive analysis and showcasing the hospital. So he has intelligently connected it to a business and showcasing the hospital that with this region, what are the next kind of disease which will come, and then probably so he was able to raise the funds of $22 million because of all these fantastic data analysis. So of course he's in US, but yeah, those things are definitely coming up. So you may start with not only, if you look at local corporations or municipal corporations, that there's always a healthcare department, and that is the place where you can start with. If you're in a college, you can definitely get it and sign an NDA and get that data. So go to municipal corporation. And reach out to their healthcare department. Yeah, so go to healthcare corporation. I mean corporation, and there is always a healthcare department there. Okay. Now Palvinder Kaur asks, I want to process student related data. There are a lot of so yes. So you may again, Palvinder, you may have to. I think the intelligent way of collecting, especially the student data, can be FB or Insta, and maybe that would be much easier than going to universities. Design some good lucrative offer for students and book up that onto Insta or FB and do better outreach. I'm sure you'll be able to collect the data. That's one. Secondly, especially I have been getting a lot of SMS and messages, especially in this season of admissions in the college. Sometimes, you do get those messages saying that if you want to purchase the data, I don't know how, but there are a lot of agencies who collect the data of 12th standard and they want to sell it to the various universities so that they can work on their admissions, right? So university while is definitely a good way, reaching out to universities and highlighting them the need, and then getting the win over it or selling your idea to them can be one way, which is difficult as well because universities come with their own mindset. But I think the intelligent way is design a very new and beautiful mechanism and scheme, and come on to Insta and FB. Students will be able to share you the data by themselves. You may reach out to some gaming industries. Say, for example, now PUBG is allowed. So why don't you go and connect somebody who is handling the PUBG e-platform and tie up with them for people to give the data, and then you give some coupons to play the PUBG. Does that sound interesting? There's huge demand of playing online games these days, and you will find all students there. At least 90% of students there. Palvinder, does that sound as a creative idea? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Further questions. So what is your learning? How do you think? So somebody can turn on the mic and tell me what did you learn in this entire week, and where now you be creative and say what can be the different options of jobs. Can you, is there somebody who can define the entire journey of data right from creation to where it can go?
Please raise your hand and then we'll be able to unmute you.
I think that would solve majority. Yeah, please, Dr. Gagan, go ahead. Thank you. Unmute Dr. Gagan, please.
We have unmuted Dr. Gagan.
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Gagan, are we ready?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm ready. Actually, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear.
Just a second, I'll switch off the fan once. Yeah, I think now it will be better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, ma'am, the question was from where what we have learned in this whole FDP and the life cycle of data, I think. Ma'am,
Correct.
yeah. So, ma'am, this FDP, we have been exposed to the basic programming skills in Python, and after that the skills has been taken to graph plot, QQ plot, histogram variance, standard deviation. That means all the stages of our data science that has been covered. And apart from this, we have been given a exposure to applications
Hmm.
with few research papers, and although we have exposed to some research areas also by professors from IIIT Ropar, and one professor Jignesh Patel, he was very was a great session. Although all are great session, but I just remember in these 4 or 5 days.
Hmm.
That is it, ma'am. And if you want me to define something else, I'll do that.
No, 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 no. Okay. No, so my from where the data comes and where it goes. Say, for example, if
Uh,
I'm chatting, is that a data generated?
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, data is
Yes.
created every second, every microsecond. Like even if the plane is flying, then also million trillions of data is generated.
Correct. Correct.
And
So can you tell
data
me
is,
the journey? Agreed. So can you tell me the journey as to where the data is generated and how it will be? Okay. So let me open your training schedule.
it's fine, ma'am. I can tell. Like, ma'am, data is
Ah,
generated everywhere. You can take any example.
okay.
Even if we are talking, then
Okay.
also data is generated. If you are traveling in a train, then also data is generated. Once the data is generated, our first role is to capture that data. For capturing the data, we should have two or three, four, five, six different mechanisms. One or two I can name them, like you have also mentioned that doing survey, giving some lucrative offers to fill the forms. That is one way of getting the data. The other way of getting the data is, which I was just writing into the chat, that is syndicate data, which there are some companies who are selling the data in the market. So you can directly approach that
Correct.
company and you can get the data. Then one more way will
Correct.
be a few companies are having their historical data, like company itself, they are capturing some data. That data also can be given to a data scientist for data processing. So this was the first stage where and how we can get data. There are some more methods are also there from where we can get data. And once we have received the data, then this data can be categorized into six stages, I can say, which I'll name. It will be like we'll follow CRISP DM methodology, that is cross industry standard process for data mining. In that process, we divide the stages into six parts. The first part will be to understand the business problem and create our maxima and minima of a business, like constraints and limitations of business. Ma'am, I think that is fine for now, or shall I carry on?
No. We want to have that entire journey.
Yeah.
So I don't want those six mechanisms, but okay. So I'll keep on interrupting in between. I'm sorry, Dr. Gagan. So one
No
is
problem.
where you said that you have n different ways of collecting the data. So do you
Right.
all agree that there can be a simple job of only collection of data?
Yes,
Do you
there
all
can be
agree
a
or
job.
not?
Yes, yes,
There can be a job only of collecting the data as a
yes,
part
ma'am.
of business need. So
Yeah,
now as you rightly said, that you can collect the data in various forms. So if I am only a data collector, then I should be innovative enough to know various mechanisms to collect the data. If I know various
yes, ma'am.
mechanisms, there can be theory of collecting the data in various mechanisms. But if you say that I need to design a form, to meet an individual, I need to meet some company, I need data. Now all these processes by business developer person along with me, or may require a programmer along with me who is going to design creative forms and so on. But data collector itself is one job role.
Yes, ma'am.
Agreed, everybody? Great. Now, once you collect the data, now you go ahead. Once you collect the data, then I'm just giving you a very different way to
Then,
look at as to what can be various posts. Then once the data is
pardon,
collected,
ma'am.
what happens to that data?
Once we have collected the data, then we are going to categorize the
Once
data,
the
ma'am.
data is collected, what happens?
Then we will categorize the data.
Okay.
Categorization means we will divide the data into broadly into two parts. One is continuous data and discrete data.
Okay.
And further, it has been classified into ratio data or interval data, count data, categorical data, binary, multiple, nominal and ordinal data. And then after doing all this exercise of categorizing our data, then we will shift to next stage.
Correct. So before, in a layman terms, once somebody has collected the data, you need a data scientist who will not only first of clean the data, right? Put it in a proper
Right.
format, put it in a proper way to start making interpretation out of it, and then categorize the data. Correct? So a data scientist role is to clean the data and to correct the data. Go ahead. Good. Now to do that, you may require a code, you may not require a code. You can do it with any other tools. You may want to do it manually. This is all up to you.
No, ma'am, there will be
But
different.
those are
uh,
the data. Or, yeah, please. Tell me. Yes, Dr. Gagan, there was a question.
Ma'am, there are tools from which we can categorize the data. In fact, we can segregate the data
Correct.
also. But data scientist
Absolutely.
role here is very important at this
Correct.
particular level.
Agreed. Agreed. So here again, so while we say we are only supposed to clean the data, you may divide it again two job roles. One, who knows the programming part and tools part of it. And second, who applies only the brains as to which tools to be used to clear the data.
Right.
These two are
Like,
two
ma'am,
job roles in an industry.
ma'am, here, suppose
Are you
what we
able
have
to?
done is,
Please.
we have collected the data and we have segregated the data. Now, after segregating the data, we are
Hmm.
supposed to clean the data, right? That
Hmm.
that we will call it as data cleansing. Data cleansing, we can call it. Like, we are going to clean the data
Correct.
in which we will use exploratory data analysis and descriptive statistics. And in later stages, we can also work on feature engineering on this particular data. So at this particular point, then you should have a data scientist who can write codes, who can implement codes on Python platform only, that you can use Jupyter or Spider, any of the Anaconda's product. Everything will looks fine. And
So,
after once we are done
no,
with this
again, when you are
exploratory data
talking about
analysis,
writing a code,
yeah,
Dr. Gagan, when you are talking about writing a code, he may not be a data scientist, he may be only a programmer also.
that will work.
Guided by a data scientist, guided by a data scientist to tell him what algorithm to use at what place.
Yeah, that works. That works. That works. That
Correct.
works.
So
Yeah.
agenda for this session is, today's my session is to tell you what all job roles are available in the market.
Right.
One, I did give you the presentation. Second, now we are going in a very logical manner. And now you yourself are able to understand what can be the job roles.
Yes, ma'am.
Is everybody with me? Is everybody with me? This session should be a complete summarization of all the topics which you have learned till now. You would have learned tools, you would have learned importance of data, you would have learned. So what all you have learned? Just let me open that sheet. Okay. So you have learned natural language processing, Python, pattern finding, media surveillance, okay. Data sciences and artificial intelligence, okay. Predictive analytics, okay. So mainly you have not focused on an entire data flow, but fair, since you belong to the similar fraternity, okay. So why don't we take a tea break right now? We catch up again at 4 o'clock. Unluckily, I have another meeting to catch up at 3:30, and which was unplanned and could not have been avoided. But we are utilizing this tea break by, you will be all going to, and we have a lot of PhD scholars as well. So go on to either Google or discuss among each other and just to make a entire data flow. S2 from which was initiated by Dr. Gagan, that how the data is created, and from after data getting created, how it is getting cleaned. Okay. Then what happens to that data? Why are we doing all this activity? If you start looking at how, where, when, why, those last questions, and can you take 40 minutes, discuss among each other, and just do the entire data flow? While you are doing that, the first step. Now, when you have done this data flow, based on all your previous understanding of this FTP and before that FTP, try to, create modules out of each, the way we did right. For example, Dr. Gagan said that we need to clean the data, and we realized that cleaning the data can actually generate 2 job roles, because cleaning the data will require 2 things. One is the knowledge of algorithms, and second is a tool knowledge, which can be 1 job, which can be 2 jobs as well, 2 people working on it, right? So if you can create these modules and sub modules as to for each what are the sub modules, we meet back at 4 o'clock. Sounds okay? Or sounds
Yes, ma'am.
interesting,
Sure,
creative?
ma'am. Yes,
Does it
ma'am.
sound creative? Great. Go ahead, everybody.
Thank you so much,
We'll catch
ma'am.
up at 4.
So,
Now, thank you. And now at
yeah,
4, trust me, rather than me telling what are the jobs, all you as a participants are going to tell me what are the jobs available. And that will justify the number as to why the job of data analysis are increasing. Because there's a logic to everything.
right.
Okay,
So,
catch up at 4 again.
yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. So we would like to inform our participants that the session will continue at 4 again. So please join at 4 p.m. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thank you, ma'am.
you. are you able
Your
to see
voice
this?
is not clear.
Are you able to
Ma'am,
see this now? And is my voice clear? Let me stop sharing. The link. I wish everybody to go through that link. Click on your own machine.
ma'am, we are not able to hear you. Your voice was breaking in between.
Is it audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yeah, what
Also,
is
ma'am,
this?
can you please
So
reshare
this,
your screen content?
if I'm sharing it, there is a huge challenge in the network, and that's the reason I'm not able to. Then my voice is breaking. I've already shared you the link on the chat. Please click on that link.
Dear participants, ma'am is asking all of you to go to the link which she has shared on the chat. Please click over the link and go to that site.
Yes, all three links are same because I was not able to.
Ma'am, can I share the screen?
Any one link. All three are same. Yeah, you can, please. That would help.
Okay, ma'am. Sure, ma'am, sure. Please let me know if it is visible.
Yes, it is visible. You can zoom a little.
Or is it fine now?
Great. Yeah, if you can make it larger. Yeah. Okay. So look at this diagram. Good. During this break, did you all actually made up a data journey? If you look at it, these are the various on the row heads. What you have is the kind of skill set you require. Either you require data knowledge, data skills, business acumen, modeling skills, coding skills, soft skills. These are the kind of skills which you require. And above the column heads are the various job options. And if you look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4 are the kind of skills which has got a highest priority. If it is a business analyst, then the business acumen should be the highest. And the soft skills also should be highest because you are ultimately dealing with the client and the top management. So this is a diagram where I assume that after you have done this entire data journey, which we initiated before the tea break, have you all done that?
Ma'am, we have received one response from Dr. Gagan. He has shared his answer. Should I share his answer with you?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, this was his answer. Ma'am, this is the answer from Dr. Gagan.
Hmm.
Ma'am, are you able to see this?
The answer is not is the same image which is still visible.
Ma'am, just a second. Let me represent.
Yes, you have to disconnect the share and connect that share.
Sure, ma'am. Ma'am, is it now visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah, but it's a blank screen. Correct. Fantastic. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we received this answer from Dr.
Ah,
Gagan.
okay. So, okay. So he is talking about understand business problem. Then you talk about data understanding plus gathering. Okay. So here he is trying to do a specific case study. Okay. So in case if you want to do a basis specific case studies, then of course you will understand the business problem. Based on that business problem as to what you want to achieve, you will do what kind of data you need to require and then you need to gather it. Once you gather the data, you do data cleansing. Once you do clean the data, you have to do data mining. And to do that data mining, you will have to build the models. And this can be because it's a huge amount of data, you need to actually do a lot of machine learning and let machine keep on learning. And then finally, out of that entire machine learning, you extract the model and you extract the data and you keep on repeating the model. Why? Because that's how the data refinement will happen. Fantastic, Dr. Gagan. Fantastic. I mean, this is definitely a good flow, very good flow. Now, if you look at this and then model deployment, right? Once the model is deployed, the next step would be whatever wisdom is generated out of that data, you ultimately solve that business problem. That is, and again, this entire process keeps on repeating to improve the business refinement, meet the target as much as possible. Suppose I finance from 100 crores to 150 crores. And then I collect the data and I understand and analyze the data about sales and customers and so on and so forth. So it is not a 1 year journey or a one cycle journey. It will be a continuous journey. And this entire process will keep on getting repeated. Are you all with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. And now, if you look at this diagram and look at the next diagram, which is the link which I have already shared, you will find that the same roles are defined. Now, you can do every place you can do a job role. And for every place, you require two job roles. One is understanding of the domain, and second is programming part of it. Because you need to have machine. Is it all clear? If you have questions, we continue. For making up your please refer to the last diagram which I have shared. I will also share the PPT. Questions? Did this summarize
Dear
your entire
participants,
1 week thing? Or were you able to connect the dots? Participants, did this summarize 1 week thing? Were you able to connect the dots somewhere?
please ask your questions on the chat box or you can also raise your hand. Dear participants, if you have any question, please ask in the chat box. You can also raise your hand. We'll unmute you.
So the schedule for tomorrow, just after this session. Being the last day tomorrow, just join on time and there will be very interesting sessions. If anybody has any other query, you can just write in the chat box. Exam time will be shared tomorrow only. I have got a query for the same. Yes, we'll also try to provide the PDFs, whosoever, like all these speakers, whosoever will be willing to share their PDFs, we will definitely share with you all on the Google groups created and the WhatsApp group created. And otherwise, as per norms of ATAL AICTE, you will definitely be provided with the YouTube links of all the recorded sessions. So don't worry about that. All right, thank you. I think this solves all your queries. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.